culture, the people, the history. I think there's a rich tradition of the arts in Russia. I went to the opera the other night at the Bolshoi. It's my first time I've been to the Bolshoi and to an opera. There's a great tradition of literature and music and poetry and art. So also a great architecture. So I've been here several times, and it's always been a rich experience to travel through the villages and meet people, and people are very hospitable, very kind, very, so.
Polite. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's people are very generous and everything.
It's really nice. And right now in the Moscow central store, how is it called?
A GUM?
A GUM, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's more of a commercial exhibition. It's that was a wonderful assignment for Vacheron Constantine. So that's at the GUM now. Yeah.
Nice. And do you like that?
I thought it was a very wonderful experience, traveling to 12 countries.
12 countries.
12 countries. One of the 12 was Russia. We photographed Red Square from the roof of GUM, which was kind of a rare privilege.
Yeah, certainly.
Because not everybody can do that. So it was a different kind of perspective, different kind of a look at the Red Square, which is one of the most historic places in the world.
Yeah. And which other 12 countries, apart from Russia?
Yeah, there was the U.S., Mexico, Switzerland, France, Uzbekistan, Morocco, China, India, and Japan.
Also some unique experiences in there.
Yeah, no, every country had its own sort of qualities and different, culture. So no, it was. I thought it was a amazing journey going to these 12 different places.
12 countries, wow. And can you think of something that was probably the most, memorable, the most surprising, unexpected in the whole journey? Because 12 countries. And how long was the journey?
I think it was about 2 months. The journey was about 2 months. 2 months, yeah.
Wow, surprising.
Yeah. But I think the most interesting trips was Japan, northern Japan, in the snow, which was very beautiful. And I think the second best location for me was Moscow, because of this unique, special access to the roof of GUM, which again gave this
unique view.
Very unusual view of Red Square.
I can probably ask you something about photography. Do you consider yourself an artist, or is it just, a fun job or a fun hobby for you?
Yeah, I think there's an artistic component. I think there's an artistic, I think what we do, it's a creative process. I think it's self-expression, interpreting the world in our own way. And I think it's. I think we approach it as. I approach it as an art. Sometimes you do commercial work.
But it's still art.
Well, it depends. Not necessarily, but it's always creative. I think all the work that I do has a creative aspect to it. So no, it's always a pleasure to photograph, whether it's for myself or for the client.
Well, okay, I see that. And what do you think is the role of photography in the modern world?
Well, I think the role of photography is, in a way, the same as it's always been. Again, it's a way we can see the world around us. I think that photography can be great art. I think it can be, we can, whether it's sports photography or landscape photography or fashion or underwater photography. There's different sort of genres. I mean, there's different types of photography, but I think it's a way to see the world as it is, and also to interpret the world in our own way.
So, like, the creative part comes when you, like, sort of, your photographs are the reflection of how you see the world, right?
Yeah, in part. That's part of it. That's true. Well, I've never really been a war photographer. I've been in war situations, but I've never been a war photographer. I photographed refugees, and sometimes, I mean, once or twice I was in a combat situation, but very, very few times. I was never a war photographer. I never wanted to be a war photographer. I mean, just because I photographed in a few instances, it doesn't make me a war photographer.
All right.
But yeah, no, it's.
Like, was your life truly in danger when you were in, like, such combat situations?
Oh, sure, many times. But again,
and why did you decide to take that trip there and to, like, be there in that case?
It was more of it was more of a kind of a coincidence, I would say. It wasn't my really intention to seek out kind of combat, or but I just happened to have the opportunity to go there and to photograph, so I
decided to do that.
So I went just for the experience.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, risking your life for the experience.
Well, you never I never intentionally risked my life, but sometimes things go wrong and you realize that your life's in danger, but I never intentionally put myself at risk. I mean, serious risk. I mean,
can you, like, think of one combat situation that you've been?
Well, there were mostly the situations were in Afghanistan. But that was like almost like 25 or 30 years ago.
Did you take the most famous photo of yours, like the portrait of the Afghanistan girl, which was published in, like, the National Geographic back then, or when was it taken?
That was 1984. 1984. How long ago was that? That's almost 30 years ago.
Oh.
So no, it's we as we always seek out different experiences, and but I mean, when you're young and trying to make a mark in the world, you take chances and risks, and you do things which maybe when you're older you wouldn't necessarily do.
I see that. Like, would you go to a combat situation right now? Like, not right now necessarily, but, like, if you had the opportunity.
Well, that's a different. No, I don't really. I'm not drawn to that. That was a different time in my life. I don't feel like that's something I need to do now. I kind of had that experience, so I don't need to go back and repeat it. That's something I don't have any desire to do that now. I want to do other things.
Like, which ones?
Well, I want to travel to places, new places, and I'm not interested in putting myself at risk the way maybe I would have been more willing to do at another time.
Okay, I see that. Like, are there any places on Earth left that you haven't visited?
Oh yeah, there's most of the. I mean, I've been to some places, but not nearly.
Like, which ones?
Well, I mean, for me, I would say that China is largely unexplored. Russia is largely unexplored.
Yeah.
Africa, I mean, I've been to a few places. South America, I've been to a few places.
And, like, in Russia, did you just go to, like, Moscow and St. Petersburg and some villages on your way on? What was your trip to Russia about?
Well, I spent a week here and a week there. Together, maybe it's, I've been in Russia for maybe a month and a half. Whereas in India, I probably spent maybe 3 or 4 years
My God.
in India. So, you know, I mean, it's not really a significant amount of time. Maybe in China, I spent maybe I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months. So it's not a big amount of time.
Still got places to explore. And did you go to Siberia, by the way?
No,
No, you
I
didn't.
have not been. No, I haven't been in Siberia. Yeah.
Are you willing to visit it?
Sure. No, I think that it's always interesting to go to new places. That I think it's a place that people always talk about. So I think it would be interesting to see it. You know,
It's so easy to get the same traditions.
yeah.
Same culture.
When I was in Burma, I went to some places which were the same as where I just came from. It wasn't that different. So, but yeah. I mean, there's places I like to go to.
Speaking about Russia, did you have like any stereotypes when you first came here? And like, if yes, like, are all of them broken or many of them broken?
No, I didn't really. I mean, my first trip to Russia was in 1988 or 89.
Oh well, even before the USSR fell apart.
But and then maybe the next time was 2000. I came a couple times,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing like not a serious trip. And I made a few trips, but no, I didn't really have any. It wasn't. I didn't have any stereotypes.
So you just like came there and seen things.
Yeah.